All right. Good luck to Ann at her bridge stuff. She just signed off, so here I am. And I'm just going to do a little stitching today because I didn't really have anything planned. This was just a piece of batting that I had laying around. It's about 23 inches long by 6 inches wide. And I'm just going to cover it with stitches and everything. The only thing I'm going to be and I might do some beading work too, but this is going to be a project in process. Right now, I'm just going to add some various laces just here and there around it. And I might even add some burlap for interest. But I also want to stitch in each of the little squares. So if I don't put lace on it, I want to do some other kind of stitching. So that's what I'm going to do today, is just do some stitching, and I'm going to turn this into maybe a little like pocket, like do this up here and then have this fold down. It could almost be a crossbody bag. It would be very narrow though. But for right now, it's just going to be a stitchy piece of material. Hi, Joyce. Your first one here. I have to take my son to pick up his van. Okay. All right. I'll be here for a while. So I'm just doing the fly stitch to kind of hold this lace down. It's got like this double row in the middle of it, and I'm just doing one fly here and then jumping to the other side and adding a fly. And I'm just going to use a variety of different embroidery flosses. Whatever I grab, I'm going to use and fill up a square or piece. They're not really squares. They're just random pieces from my scrap bag that I've just stitched down. And I thought it would be fun to attach this with the fly stitch. And there I go. I unthreaded my needle. So let's try again. Howard, leave those alone. Hi, Pam. So I'm just doing a bit of stitching today. I didn't have anything else planned. And this was laying there, and I said, well, I need to work at that. Or as Mary said, there goes some DNA on this thread. Oops. I might have to get my threader over here. Hi, Janet. How are you? Oh. You know what? Hang on. Get this little guy back, and you just hold the eye down, and then you kind of have to hold this across the opening so that the little thingamabob can poke it. And you just keep poking until the needle turns and you see the thread pop out. And it did only one strand again. All right, let's try again. I don't know if it'll work with 2 strands of embroidery floss, but I'm going to keep trying. I think I got it that time. There we go. This has got a split in its neck, so it doesn't want to work all the time. There we go. Now I've got to loosen this up because I've pulled it too tight, and I pulled my fly flat. There we go. All right. And Joyce will be back. She's got to run an errand. And I don't really have this set up to where I can show, but I think most people know the fly stitch. Get the little hedgehog over here. I am stitching through to the back, through the batting and everything. So I went to the knee doctor, and he said, "How you doing?" And he said, "Are you able to do the things you normally do?" And I was like, "Yep." He said, "Well, I would say that's good. And if you start having problems, you have to wait 3 months between the shots of cortisone." But he said that if it got to a point where I was in that much pain again, to just shoot him an email and he'd get me right in and give me another shot of cortisone. And then once the cortisone stops working, because eventually it will, it will. It's just, that's why you have to wait 3 months. If you get cortisone too often, your body gets an immunity to it. So he said, once we reach that point, then there's a gel they can shoot in there that's kind of like lubricant for the joint. And he said, basically, I have arthritis, and it's just a flare. And he said, more than anything, it's the arthritis giving me the pain. He said, you've lived with the meniscus tear this long. I've probably got more joint deterioration now than just that meniscus tear. So that's where I'm at with that. So yesterday, Bernadette got her hair done. Bernadette is our dog, for those that don't know. Well, I went out to get in the car, and Mama Cat had come, and she told her kids to get in my engine. So Greg and I got 3 out of the 4 out, and then the other one just disappeared somewhere in the car. So I had to leave. I had to get to our appointment. So either, I haven't heard him crying in there or anything. I don't know if he slipped out, somewhere while I was in one of my appointment stops, which I'm kind of hoping he did, and that somebody rescues him. So I'm going to leave that up like that. But yeah, I just let nature take its course. I cannot rescue them all. I can't. So I'm going to grab another color. It's sad, but it happens, There's not a lot you can do about things like that. I'm trying to move everything off my top of my own floss so I can see what I've got here. So I'm going to get some of this cool green here. So here's hoping the little guy finds a home, since he wouldn't let us get him out of the car. All right. What else happened yesterday? Brother-in-law called. He wants us to feed at his cats and check in on them over the weekend. So we got to do that. He's going to get us a key made. And we'll have to go by and, see where they put the cat food and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be added to the weekend. I picked up 2 Better Boy tomatoes and a Roma tomato because our local grocery store had marked them down to $1.50 each. Hi, Gail. So I got those, and then I told Scott, I said, I need to go to Lowe's or somewhere and get some in the ground mix, because I'm trying to build up new beds. I tore my complete garden out. So my garden is gone. So I'm trying to build a new one. And I'm doing it one bed at a time. So I've got those 2 tomatoes. And I also, at Lowe's, I picked up 6-pack of marigolds. And I have those out there just around the edge of the tomato bed. I'm just going to do a running stitch in this area here. And got that all put together this morning, and I filled the bird feeders and the suet cake things. I finally got those out. And that's about it. Hi, Deborah. How are you? And if you can hear my crazy neighbor out there, he's a young guy and he just goes out in the backyard and he talks on his phone really loud and sometimes smokes pot. And yeah. So anyhow, that's how it's going around here. Y'all are doing good then? Scott and I were talking about how it is here in the South and how somebody will say, how you doing? How's your mom and them? How's your mom and them? We were laughing about it because, it's just kind of like all run together. How's your mom and them? Oh, gosh. Got me my little YouTube check came in, and I had ordered some yarn. I didn't know I was going to get paid this month, so I had ordered 2 different types of yarn from Hirschner's because they were having this huge clearance sale, and I got the one's called Soho, and they've got like if you buy 3 bags, 3 to a bag of them, you save an extra like 50 cents a skein. So I got 3 skeins of two different yarns, which if I followed that chart, I shared a link to that tool. I can't remember where all I shared. I don't know if I just shared it in my group or if I put it on my community tab, but it's this chart here. It's by Lion Brand Support Center. And it's how much yarn do I need to make blank. So they tell you how many yards you'll need per the weight. So you got the yarn weights are across the top here. And then it gives you the article of clothing. So a hat, a scarf, a socks, shawl, adult sweater, baby blanket, or an Afghan. And so like if you wanted to make, I was going for like an adult sweater in a 5 weight, I'd need 950 to 1125 yards. So that's why I went ahead and got the 3, because I would like to make myself some just, handmade pull on cardigan type sweaters. I cannot wear pullover sweaters here. I just need something that when it's really, really chilly, I can just slip it on. And then when I warm up, I can slip it back off real easy. Pullover sweaters are you just can't wear them down here. It never gets that cold. And besides that, if you visit anybody that's, past 70 here, their houses are like at 85 degrees all the time. That's just not going to work. I'm moving y'all closer. So everybody must be busy. I'm not seeing my chat move. I hope I'm still connected. So I'm just doing a very uneven running stitch. It's not going to be perfect or anything. It's just to add a little texture here and there. You're listening. Okay. So I have one vegetable garden bed started, kind of, sort of, with the tomatoes and marigolds. Now, the other bed that I have out there has garlic in it, and it's about ready to be harvested. So I need to look and see what will grow in the heat of the summer. It's pointless to plant lettuce right now because it would immediately bolt. I wouldn't get anything off, and it's too late for summer squash. That you really need to start indoors and then transplant out early so that the squash moths don't get moved in, the borers. I think I'm going to make spaghetti for supper. I don't know. This is usually the day we go out to eat, but so Scott applied for a pre-approved automobile loan through our bank. He's going to start drawing some of his retirement. So he wants to get a new car for us. He'll drive it back and forth to work. And then I'll have the truck here, if I needed to go anywhere. That will save us so much in gas if we get a car, that's less on gas than that big old Hemi Dodge Ram. That uses a ton of gas. Oh, dear. Pull this through here. I'm going to leave that tail. I'll sew it in. I'm going to line my little whatever I make anyway, so it doesn't matter. And anybody got any Memorial Day plans? Do you go and visit family graves? We don't. That's why Scott and I are leaning more toward cremation than we are taking up space on the planet. Oh, God, now they're fighting. I'll close the door. The cats are getting freaked out anyway. We had to call the police one time because he had a girl on the ground beating her in the head. So that's why I'm like, oh my God, not again. See, guys like that, they attract young women, but you get a nice guy like my son, and girls want to treat him like dirt. I don't get it. I guess he's just too kind-hearted and kind and, everything you'd think a young woman would like in a person. His friend Mary has been coming on weekends, and they hang out. They're like camera buddies. And she has a little girl, and Greg so enjoys spoiling Darby. So they went to something. Punk Flea Market, I think it was, and he said he loaded Darby up on candy. I said, you better not do that often or Mary's going to get mad at you. You never load a child up on candy. That's what grandparents are supposed to do. So anyway, hi, Darla. Sorry for the neighborhood drama I have going. Howard's like, they were yelling. I'm back in. I just turned this to make it easier for myself. I'm probably not even in shot. There's Darla. Hello, Darla. I noticed I've had some new folks leaving comments. That's very nice. I do not always answer every single comment. I'm not very good at answering everyone, but I will give you a thumbs up and a heart if I see your comment. So there's that. I saw that Kate at the last homely house, she just did a canta quilt. And she was saying cantha, but I looked it up and it's canta. They don't pronounce the H. Because I was like, I thought it was different than that because I looked it up before. And it was quite unique. So this is just a Scrappy made out of my scrap bag, that patchwork that I've hand basted these down. I didn't do it on the machine, and it's all hand pieced, and you'll see some stitches here and there. It's not going to matter because by the time I'm done with doing embroidery all over this thing, and putting lace and various things on it, you're not going to see any of my basting anyway. The base is just a piece of batting that was left over from another project, and it was about the size it is. I did trim a little bit off one end because it had like a little square cut out in the corner, and I wanted this to be even. And I'm just treating this like just a stitched piece of fabric, just to do some stitching on. I don't really have a solid plan. I thought about maybe trying to do a crossbody bag that I could put a very long handle on so I could wear it crossbody, and then have it just, like if we're out like antiquing or stuff, I can put just my wallet in it and my phone. And found out why they dug our yard up is they were putting in a new high speed internet. It's a new company. So Scott said they left a flyer stuck to our door because we have a sign on the front door, no soliciting, that we don't want to be bothered, with political stuff or sales or any of that. So they just leave us a note instead. So, well, that's going to have to be good enough. Good enough. And I don't save my little tails. I'm sorry. I don't. So I got to do a little bit more on this, and then we'll pick another block. I'm kind of working from the middle out like you do on a regular quilt most of the time. Oops. Oh, there was a piece already loose. I thought there was. It was stuck to me. That's all good. And I'm going to add, like I added some lace here. I'm going to do that in other places as well. I have a bunch of this flat lace that you could get off eBay, and I have so much of it, and I've got to use this stuff up. I've got some red, I've got some white here. There's some different colors. Hi, Barbara Clark. I go tomorrow, have my blood work done. They've been about to drive me nuts over pap smears. So I told them, I said, I'll be there next week. Can we just do it then so that I'll quit getting these messages? So she said she added a note. Oh, I hate that appointment. Anyway. Oh, gosh. I have not finished my stitch strip yet. I might work on that some this afternoon. I'm sitting here thinking about how nice it would be to go out to eat tonight, but because Wednesday night's usually the night we do that. I don't know. I probably have enough leftovers in the refrigerator that I could make Scott a lunch for tomorrow from the leftovers so we could go out to eat with no problem. I don't know. I'm going to think on it. He'll do whatever I decide. And then when we get to the restaurant, he'll just order whatever I'm having. He just, I don't know. I think he finds that easier just to order what I'm getting. I was like, you can order what you want. I actually want mine to go and have Mexican tonight. I'm going to sit here and talk myself into it. Hi, Heather. Heather's beautiful dog in the woods, playing in the water. I saw your pictures. I think it was on Instagram. That's a beautiful dog. Irish setter, right? My old dog. I took her and got all her hair cut off. So she's, I just have to watch that I don't leave her outside too long if she's in the sun because she has no protection on her skin right now. I think she's climb under the shed where she can get nice and dirty after I just paid all that money to have her bathed and everything. But I told Candy, my groomer, I said, her old lady spots are sticking up. So she's got a lot of these, like, I don't know what they are. They're just raised spots on her skin. And when I got her back, there's lots of sore looking places where, she's treated for fleas and ticks. So it's not residue from them. It's just, she's an old girl. She's like 15 years old now. She's getting up there. I'm surprised she's still hanging with us, but she is. She just went out, so. And it's below 90, so she's probably okay as long as she stays in the shade. So I don't go back to the knee doctor again until I need another cortisone shot, 3 months or longer. He said, don't bother with making an appointment through the system. He said, shoot me a message. And he said he'd get me right in. He'd just have everything all set. And then when I showed up, he could just give me the shot real quick between other patients. So I was like, okay, cool. He's very direct, doesn't waste a lot of time chit-chatting or anything, which I found kind of weird the first time I met him. Wasn't real impressed with him, but it all worked out. All right, let's choose a different. So if I look at the color wheel, okay, let's do purple on this pink. Why not? A purplish color. A bluey purple like this. Periwinkle, maybe. He's a golden retriever. Redfield golden. Very similar. Oh, okay, cool. All right, I know this has got a beginning here. Oh, I didn't tell you about, we also got 2 sheets of plywood and some 2x4s when we went to Lowe's last night for the garden soil for me. And I was bad, and I bought the Miracle Grow with plant food in it. I don't usually do that because I like to do organic, but it was buy 3 bags, get 2 free at Lowe's. So that's what I'm using. Try not to judge too harshly, but I just needed to get those tomatoes planted quickly, and I'll do better the next time. But on our way home, we saw this old chest of drawers on the side of the road. And so we stopped and picked it up. And it's got where some of the veneer is delaminating because it got wet. But I told Scott when he takes it apart, if he's real careful and saves the legs, he could maybe remake some of it into a small table to put next to his recliner. So he has a little side table next to his recliner. He hadn't thought to do that. He said, "Oh, that's a good idea." So, and there was also some bifold doors, solid ones, not that particle stuff you get now. So, we got that loaded. The lady came out, "Let me help." And then she proceeded to tell us that she was saying goodbye to her daughter and son-in-law. And there was she has these 2 stumps, and she got disoriented, I guess, and she fell over one of the stumps and messed her shoulder up. I said, "You are definitely not helping us. We got this as long as you don't mind us taking it." "Oh no, that's why I put it out there." So we got some treasure. Scott's been collecting old bureaus like that because he can get real oak and cherry and that kind of stuff out of those, even if they're tore up. If he can save some of the lumber, do you guys know how much they charge for real oak right now, or cherry, or any of the real wood? They charge a fortune. So that's why we look for them. And he had just been talking about how since the pandemic situation that we haven't seen any good trash piles. And I'm like, well, there, made you a liar. We got 2 really good pieces of wood out of there. I'm hoping, since he's got a 3-day weekend this weekend, even though we've got to go over to his brother's house to take care of his cats, I'm hoping he'll finish the tile this weekend in the bathroom. We're going to have to call the plumber to come back out, to hook the sink up and the commode. I will be so glad to get the commode off my patio, the back porch. The hall commode has been sitting out on the porch for nearly 3 years. Ugh. This too shall pass. So if I go over some of these with their complementary color, I think that'll add to the interest here. And Joyce is back. I need to work on my my strip for this week, and I want to work on the new look pattern that I pulled for the little girl outfit. I think I'm going to make it in the largest size that pattern will make. I think it's a size 4. And I'm just going to do one outfit to remind you guys what it was. This was the pattern we pulled. And I'm just going to do these little pants and maybe one of these tops, either that one or this one. Because I think I've got some cute little, they use rickrack around the bottom here. So this goes up to a size 4. So I'll just make a size 4 in this. And this is one that Dee Dee sent me. And I love the little rickrack on it. And they put it on the neckline here too. I would not put the bows. I think they're detracting from the cute rickrack. And I'm pretty sure I have rickrack in my stash. Again, trying to use up the stuff I already have. I need to ask my nurse practitioner if this medicine's supposed to make you dizzy, because if I bend over and I stand up really fast, it's all I can do to stay standing. So I don't know if it's a side effect of this medicine or what. I know we have to watch out for pancreatitis with this stuff. Sometimes I think, is the medication going to be what kills me, or will it be the diabetes? You know, can't win for losing. I'm hoping it's benefiting me. I've lost weight. And a lot of that has to do with I just can't eat anything much. It's changed our taste receptacles too, because things that we used to overeat on just don't taste good anymore. You were very dizzy. Yeah. See, they switched us to Ozempic because Mounjaro they can't get. The drugstore can't get. And Scott said he felt like the Ozempic had fewer side effects, but I'm the opposite. I think I'm having more side effects from this than I did with the Mounjaro or the Ribelsis. But I do kind of prefer the weekly shot over having to remember another pill, because I take a variety of vitamins and then I have 4 different other prescriptions that I take. And, with the dizziness, I've been checking my sugar to make sure it's because, not because my sugar has dropped out the bottom. That one was not straight in any form of the imagination. That row just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But you know what? I don't care because I think it still looks pretty with the purple on the pink. Here, I'll lift it up so you guys can see the purple stitches on that pink. I need to call my sister because my sister Robin is on it too. She takes a lot of medicine. She has a lot of health issues, but she's been taking it too, and I want to talk to her about it. And then my youngest sister, her birthday was this last weekend, and I worked some more on her card, but I still haven't gotten it to her. Oh man, that's crooked. Because I didn't know if she was back in town or if she was still in Kansas City or wherever it is she went. I know she was going on the plane, and her little dog, he's like I don't remember what he is. He's like a Beagle Dotson. He's long and short. He's got quite the character, and he put one of his chew toys in her suitcase. Like, you have to take me with you. He is just the cutest thing. And anytime we go over there, he brings his toys to us and drops them down. And Rhonda says, Doc, no. And then he'll keep doing it. And then finally she'll say, you can throw it for him. Because he's not going to leave you alone. And then even once you start throwing it for him, then he's really not going to leave you alone. They have another dog, but it's not as friendly and cute. It's a bigger dog. I'll probably go off at 2. I just wanted to chat and stitch a bit with you guys. And might shoot Scott a text message and say, "Hey, do you want me to cook spaghetti or do you want to go out?" I could also do meatloaf and mashed potatoes. I don't know. If it was up to me, we'd just go vegetarian and just not have meat in the house. But I live with 2 carnivores. What can I say? And I'm not going to prepare 2 different meals. I'm just not. Don't have it in me. I didn't see if anybody had any plans for Memorial Day. Gail said no plans for her. Oh, okay. She had to go. I didn't see that. Oh, I'm so over meals. I'm just, I, for a change, would love it if food just appeared for me. Like it's magic for Scott and Greg. Food just appears for them. The only time food just appears for me is if I make us spend money. And I don't want to spend money either because eating out has gotten nuts, you guys. Oh my God. Just where did we go? We went to Duke's Pad Thai and it was like $41 for 2 bowls of noodles and some rolls. And then we went to Nick's House of Pizza, again, 40 something dollars. I said, I'm going to have to just start ordering a la carte and then what's bad is we can't eat it all and we bring it home and it gets eaten eventually. It's just, I told Scott, so the smart thing we could do is get an hors d'oeuvre to share and then share a meal since we can't eat that much. Anyway, that just goes back to I'd like him to make some decisions and pick his own food because he waits for me to order because, ladies first. And then he just goes, I'll have the same as her. I'm going to make him. That's what I should do. I should make him order first. And then I can just say, I'll have this. And we can each get something different. Oh, and the salads at the Greek restaurant, the Nick's. They've gotten so small. It's like 3 little pieces of lettuce and, maybe a little tomato and a cucumber and then an olive and 2 of the pepperoncinis. I'm like, it used to be full of lettuce. Is it still a lettuce shortage or I don't know. Things have gone so sideways in this country. I don't know if that's like that in Canada or anywhere else in the world, but oh my word. It's really gone sideways. Can't hardly afford to eat out, even like once a month. I'm just so sick of cooking it's nice to have one night off. I have toyed with the idea of like maybe Mondays being my cooking day and just cook a bunch of stuff. The problem with that is the refrigerator doesn't hold very much. We bought this refrigerator in 96. I told Scott, I said, what we need is 2 refrigerators that are smaller refrigerators or have a separate, I don't like chest freezers. I discovered I really hate chest freezers. I don't want to dig for stuff like that. But I would like a larger place to have frozen stuff. Then I could freeze some meals too. Freeze them, and then we could pull them out and pop them in the oven and go. I know there was this trend several years back where people would do once a month cooking. That intrigues me too. Um, oh, yeah, I know. And if you want to go somewhere nice, like we had thought about going to one of the nicer restaurants that we like to go, but before the pandemic, it would have been $75. So I'm thinking it would be even more than that now for like a place called Travinia's. I really would love it if we could go somewhere and get something. I don't know. Just don't know what I'm in the mood for either. We like La Cienega. I like them. Um, it's like my once a month place to go and have an adult beverage because they do a pineapple jalapeno margarita that is so lovely. I'm not a big drinker, but I do enjoy that margarita that they make like that. And one drink a month is not going to kill me. I don't drink every single week. Definitely don't drink every day. Can't stand beer. Can't. No. Just can't stomach it. Don't like wine unless it's champagne. I can drink some champagne. Just don't like regular wine. But a cocktail every once in a while is fine. Gin and tonic, something like that. Oh, I love that purple on there. I'm glad I chose to do that. I hear you. Scott's actually a pretty good cook. When I worked at Michael's and I had to be to work at on Wednesdays, we had to be there at like 2 a.m. And then the rest of the week we were there at like 5. And he would get up and make my breakfast for me. And then I would go on into work. This morning it was so funny. My phone is our only alarm clock. He doesn't even have an alarm that he turns on. He uses the alarm I set on my phone. And this morning, I was like, all you got to do is hit the X. But this morning, he carried it in the front room where I was asleep in the recliner because I woke up with a little bit of an acid stomach at some point. And I was like, why don't you just push the X on the phone and turn it off? I said, well, I want you to get up too. I want you to hear it. I was like, why? I've heard it. I'm just ignoring it. Oh my gosh. So, but yeah. Yeah, I just can't stomach beer. I think it's vile. Yep, just one drink every once in a while. That's it. Yep. Oh, the more I think about a margarita with chips and dip, I mean, I'd be happy with that. Ow. Stabbed myself with that pin. Oh, earlier I was talking about I'm going to do a bunch of embroidery and add lace and stuff everywhere on this, and I'm going to work on it off camera as well. This is just, I wanted to show one of my side pieces, side work here. Mary says it's her magic carpet ride that she's doing with K3N Cloth Tails. And I guess I could count this as my magic carpet right here. I'm not really planning to have it as a project all the time online, but I just kind of wanted to show it. And we might get together and make a little bag or pouch or something with this once I get it all stitched. It's probably going to take me a while to do the stitching because I'm doing other things. I've got my crochet projects going. I've got the strips I'm working on. I need to finish my strip for this week. I have that shawl started that I started with Just Vintage Crochet, where she did the a random pattern from the past that her son had chosen out, and he'd gone through and crossed off, what they were and all. I saw on her latest one that I'm fighting the urge to look at it because it sounds intriguing, but it's a beaded crocheted project. And I'm like, oh, don't look at it. You'll be doing that too. You got all this other stuff. I want to trace out the size 4 on that pattern. And I do trace out my sewing patterns because that way I always have the original and I can go back and trace off a different size later if I need to. So, and I've got things like this, just felt hearts. I'm thinking I could pop that on with just an X on it. So, oh, it's Gregor. You're up early, bud. So I'm going to let you guys go, and I'm going to keep working on this for a little while. I'll shoot Scott an email and see what he would like to do for supper. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Tomorrow is the Craft and Chat with Ann. I won't be there. For anybody that normally attends that, I will not be there until after my appointment. So I'll send them an email, a text too. All right, guys, thanks for being here. Take care. Bye-bye.